What I did not tell you was what happened after they got the bill. In my last video, I told you about my clients, the bylaw change, the listing flood, the forced sale, their loss of capital. What I did not tell you was what happened after, because the bill was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new kind of cost that most people who have been inside this situation will recognize immediately.
Build freedom intentionally.
The bylaw change came with fines, not a notice, not a warning, not a compliance letter. Fines, retroactive enforcement on listings that had been operating legally for months before. If there were 2 names on the title, they would each receive a bill, 1,000 Canadian dollars. Per name, and 8 days later, another fine per name again. In total, $10,000 were accumulated in one household, and it was reported later that this particular city collected over 480,000 Canadian dollars in fines from homeowners. The system that pulled them in was now charging them for the privilege of being inside of it. And then there was the wait-in. The market had been flooded overnight. Every short-term rental operator hit simultaneously. Buyers knew that sellers were under pressure. Offers came in low. Negotiations were slow. During that entire period, my clients were still carrying the property, still paying the mortgage, still absorbing the utilities, the insurance, the maintenance. Cost of a property that was no longer generating the income that it had been designed to generate. Every month the sale did not close was another month of carrying a depreciating asset at full cost. The equity was not just gone, it was being actively consumed. That is the real cost of the trap, not the moment it closes, the months it takes to exit. Now, I want to show you why my clients did not leave sooner, because the signs were there and 3 other specific things kept them inside the structure long after the structure had stopped serving them. I call them the 3 disguised siblings because each one represents itself as something reasonable, even prudent, and each one is quietly costing you more than you realize. The first is complacency. Its disguise is everything is fine. Not great, not exactly what you planned, but fine. The account will bounce back. The property is still worth more than we paid for it. For now. Fine is a very convincing disguise for a system that is slowly not working. Complacency says, why change what is working? But what it does not tell you is what working is costing you. The second is familiarity. Its disguise is, I know how this works. The neighborhood, the healthcare system, imperfect but navigatable. The tax system, painful but known. Familiarity makes starting over somewhere else feels impossibly expensive. In time, in energy, and in everything you would have to learn from scratch. But most people who have done it will tell you it costs far less than staying ever did. Familiarity says starting over elsewhere is too hard, but it does not tell you what staying is costing you every month while you weigh that decision. The third is uncertainty. Its disguise is, I don't know enough as yet. What if I choose the wrong country? What if the income does not follow me? These are legitimate questions, but uncertainty applies in both directions. The uncertainty of staying within a system whose rules can change without your consent is at least as real as the uncertainty of building something else new somewhere else. Uncertainty says, I need to know more before I can move. But the cost of waiting to know everything is paid in the currency of time. And time, unlike money, cannot be recovered. Now, those 3 siblings have a combined cost, and I want to name the combined cost. You see, it's a cost that never appears on any statement. Most financial conversations leave this out entirely, but it is one that compounds every single month, and it is the single most expensive cost in the middle class trap, even though it's almost never appears on any statement. I call it the erosion cost, and it is the most expensive line item in most people's lives, with one very specific problem. It never appears on a statement. It is not the cost of a bad investment or a market downturn. It is the cost of staying inside of a structure that is not serving you. for one more month, for one more quarter, and for one more year, while these three disguised siblings keep you from asking whether there is a better alternative. It shows up each month when you are slightly short and have to borrow money from your parents, your siblings, or your partner to cover the gap. It shows up as the gap between the freedom number you calculated 5 years ago and the freedom number you need to recalculate today because inflation moved it, because the dollar eroded it, because the bylaws changed it. The hamster wheel is not a metaphor. It is a mechanical reality of trying to reach a number that keeps moving away from you. Not because you're running slowly, but because the track itself is moving faster while simultaneously getting narrower under your feet. Complacency tells you that the wheel is fine. Familiarity tells you a different wheel would be too expensive to build. Uncertainty tells you to wait until you know more, while the erosion cost compounds every single month. Now, I want to show you the other side of this, not as a fantasy, not as a highlight reel. Let me show you 3 people who got off the wheel. 3 individuals, documented, verified, and a representation of a pattern that is accelerating globally. According to Pew Research, 2.2 million people left the United States in 2025 alone. 1 in 3 British adults has considered immigrating permanently. In Canada, nearly 40% of Gen X adults and millennials are actively thinking about leaving. These are not radicals or dreamers. These are people who ran the numbers. Let me show you 3 of them. And I'll start with myself first. I was a licensed realtor and I ran my own business for years. My monthly cost in Toronto was approximately $3,800 US for bare bones. My monthly cost in Nairobi is $1,300 US. And you can see the video here with all of the numbers. The delta is $2,500 per month or $30,000 per year. That is the erosion cost that I spoke about previously that I'm no longer paying. I did not stop the erosion by earning more. I stopped the erosion by just moving. And it's called geo-arbitrage. Deborah, 52, a former HR professional from Toronto, relocated to Medellín 14 months ago. Revenue first. Her monthly cost is $1,600 US. Her words documented by CNBC. I used to wake up and calculate how far away retirement felt. Now I wake up and calculate what do I do with my day. Michael, 56, a former finance professional from London, relocated to Chiang Mai 20 months ago. His monthly cost is $1,100 US. And he was pleasantly surprised when he found out that in 2025, Thailand ranked 4th in the Inter-Nations Expat Survey. 3 different people, 3 different continents. One identical realization that the cost of staying was the most expensive decision they almost made. 3 people, 3 continents, but a similar story. The West is not fully broken, but for a growing number of people inside of it, it is no longer the best answer to the question, is there a system where what I have built is worth more and where the rules are not designed to move the ground beneath me? And that question, once you start asking it honestly, is very difficult to stop asking. If any part of these 3 scenarios landed, if you recognize the erosion cost in your own life, or if one of these 3 situations fell closer to home than you expected, here is what I want to leave with you. Of the 3 disguised siblings keeping you inside the structure, complacency, familiarity, and uncertainty, which one has the strongest hold on you right now? Not which one do you recognize intellectually. Which one do you feel when you think about actually making a change? You don't have to share it publicly, but you should write it down. That is the first step towards change. And speaking of change, if you are serious about taking that step towards change, then we have something for you. It's called the Relocation Toolkit. It's the first step towards relocation change. The Relocation Toolkit includes the Readiness Mirror AI tool, which helps you understand where you actually are in the process. Not where you think you are, but where you are. If the question phase is behind you and the planning phase has begun, then the digital relocation blueprint is here to help you along. It is an 82-page 5-module Income First Framework ebook, and it offers the Blueprint Mirror AI tool. Both AI tools are available for immediate download for you to add to your AI of choice. It works behind the scenes to keep you moving towards progress. The Toolkit, if you're asking, should I even look elsewhere? The Blueprint, if you have already answered yes and needs help with the how. You don't have to choose between them today. Every month you stay inside a structure that is not serving you, waiting to feel ready, is a month that the erosion cost keeps growing. So the real cost of freedom that nobody talks about are the 3 things that keeps people from leaving, the bills that keeps coming, the erosion cost nobody calculates, and the question that goes unanswered. Is there a system where what I have built is worth more and where the rules are not designed to move the ground beneath me? Be sure to hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell, because in the next video, we cover the one pattern behind almost every relocation that fails and the one correction that changes everything. If you're thinking about making a move, you need to see that one before you do anything else. I'm Ro for Relocate with Revenue. Income first, freedom always. And stay free, stay informed. Peace.
Relocate with the revenue. A channel about relocation leverage. Income independent leverage. Geo-arbitrage leverage. Lifestyle leverage. Build freedom intentionally with Ro.